Here's a wild fact. Warren Buffett accumulated 99% of his wealth after his 50th birthday, not because he suddenly got smarter or worked harder, but because he understood something most people miss entirely. Welcome back to the channel where we break down the biggest ideas from the best books in under 20 minutes. Today, we're diving into The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, a book that's not about spreadsheets or investment formulas. It's about understanding the weird, emotional, totally human side of how we think about money. If you're tired of financial advice that sounds like it was written by a robot, stick around. This one's different. Here's the thing. We've all been taught that success with money is about math. Calculate the right numbers, follow the right formula, and boom, you're rich. But Morgan Housel flips that on its head. He shows that doing well with money has almost nothing to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you behave. You could have a genius-level IQ and still go broke if you make emotional decisions. Meanwhile, someone with average intelligence but excellent behavior can build serious wealth. This book is packed with stories, some hilarious, some heartbreaking, that reveal why we make terrible money decisions and, more importantly, how to fix them. Whether you're trying to save more, invest smarter, or just stop stressing about your bank account, this book gives you the mental tools to actually change your relationship with money. Let's jump into the biggest lessons. Big idea number 1. Your personal experience shapes everything. Here's something most people don't realize. Your view of money is shaped by the specific slice of history you lived through. If you grew up during the Great Depression, you probably hoard cash. If you came of age during the roaring 90s stock market, you might think stocks only go up. Housel uses this incredible example. People who experienced high inflation in their youth tend to avoid bonds forever. People who saw booming markets invest way more in stocks. It's not rational, it's just what feels normal based on your experience. Think about it like this. If you grew up in Southern California, you probably think 60 degrees is freezing, but someone from Minnesota would call that t-shirt weather. Same with money. Your normal is shaped by your unique history. So here's the practical takeaway. Before making a big financial decision, ask yourself, am I doing this because it's smart or because it just feels familiar? Your parents' money trauma doesn't have to be yours. Your friend's investment strategy might not fit your life. Figure out what actually works for your goals, not what worked for someone else's. Big idea number 2. Luck and risk are siblings. This one's a game changer. Housel says that luck and risk are two sides of the same coin, and we're terrible at recognizing both. When someone succeeds, we love to say they worked hard or made smart choices. When someone fails, we blame their decisions. But sometimes it's just luck. Bill Gates went to one of the only high schools in the world with a computer in 1968. That's insane luck. But his classmate, Ken Evans, who was just as talented, died in a mountaineering accident. That's risk. Here's the kicker. Because luck and risk are so intertwined, you can't just copy what successful people did and expect the same results. Maybe they succeeded because of timing, connections, or pure chance, not just because they hustled. So what do you do with this? Stay humble. When things go well, don't assume you're a genius. When things go badly, don't assume you're a failure. Focus on making consistently good decisions over time, not hitting one home run. And here's the action step. When you're tempted to take a huge risk because it worked for that guy, remember, you're not seeing the full picture. Build a financial plan that can survive bad luck, not one that only works if everything goes perfectly. Big idea number 3. Enough is enough. This might be the most important idea in the entire book. Housel tells the story of Rajat Gupta, a man who had everything, hundreds of millions of dollars, prestige, respect, and yet he got caught insider trading to make even more. He literally risked everything because he didn't know when to say enough. We live in a culture that worships more followers, more money, more success. But here's the truth. If you don't define what enough looks like for you, you'll spend your entire life chasing something that keeps moving further away. Housel says the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. You hit your savings goal? Great. Don't immediately set a new one that makes you feel broke again. Here's your action step. Sit down and actually define enough. How much do you need to feel secure? What lifestyle makes you genuinely happy? Write it down. Because once you know your number, you can stop playing other people's games and start living your life. Remember, the only way to win the rat race is to stop running.
Big idea number 4. Compounding is magic, if you're patient. Remember that Warren Buffett stat from the intro? He made 99% of his wealth after age 50, not because he suddenly got better at investing, but because he started young and never stopped. That's compounding in action. Housel breaks down the math. Buffett's net worth is over $100 billion, but if he had retired at 60, it would be around $25 million. Still rich, obviously, but a tiny fraction of what he has now. The difference? Those extra decades of compounding. Here's the catch. Compounding only works if you don't interrupt it. Every time you panic and sell during a market dip, you hit the reset button. Every time you cash out early to buy something shiny, you lose years of growth. Think of it like planting a tree. If you dig it up every few months to check the roots, it'll never grow. But if you plant it and leave it alone, in 30 years, you've got shade, beauty, maybe even fruit. The practical lesson? Start now, even if it's small. Invest $50 a month if that's all you've got. The key isn't the amount, it's the time. 10 years from now, you'll wish you had started today. So start today. And here's the mindset shift. Stop trying to get rich quick. Start trying to stay invested long. Boring beats flashy every single time. Big idea number 5. Save money without a reason. Most financial advice tells you to save for something specific. Retirement, a house, a vacation. But Housel makes a radical argument. Save money without a specific goal. Just save it. Why? Because life is unpredictable. The best opportunities often come out of nowhere, and they only work if you have cash available. Maybe it's a career change, a business idea, or just the freedom to say no to a job you hate. He calls it flexibility, and it's one of the highest returns you can get on your money. Having savings doesn't just make you richer, it makes you more free. Here's the American dream example. You hate your job, but you can't quit because you live paycheck to paycheck. Now imagine you've got 6 months of expenses saved. Suddenly, you can take risks. You can walk away from toxic situations. You can wait for the right opportunity instead of taking the first one. Action step? Build a freedom fund. It's not for emergencies, not for retirement, it's for life. Even if it's just 1 month of expenses to start, get that cushion. It'll change how you feel about everything. Big idea number 6. Wealth is what you don't see. Here's the mind bender. The guy driving a Ferrari might be broke. The woman shopping at Target might be a millionaire. Why? Because wealth is invisible. Housel explains that rich and wealthy are not the same thing. Rich is your current income, the fancy car, the designer clothes, the luxury of vacation. Wealthy is what you've saved and invested, the stuff you don't see. The problem is, we're wired to show off richness, not wealth. Nobody posts their brokerage statement on Instagram. They post the vacation funded by credit card debt. Here's the trap. Every dollar you spend to look rich is a dollar you can't use to become wealthy. It's like running on a treadmill. Lots of effort, zero progress. So what's the move? Stop trying to impress people who don't care. Drive a used car. Live in a modest house. Invest the difference. In 20 years, you'll have real wealth while everyone else is still faking it. Remember, true wealth is financial assets that haven't been converted into the stuff you see. It's the money you didn't spend, and that's way more powerful than any luxury item. Big idea number 7. Room for error is everything. This is the idea that can save your financial life. Always leave room for error. Housel points out that the most important part of any financial plan is the part that accounts for things going wrong. Because they will. Markets crash, jobs disappear, life happens. He uses the example of Russian roulette. If someone offers you $1 billion to play one round, should you do it? The expected value says yes, 5/6 chance of winning big. But the downside is death. That's a risk you can't come back from. Same with money. If your plan only works when everything goes perfectly, it's not a plan, it's a hope. You need cushion, margin, slack. Here's how this plays out. Don't invest money you might need in 2 years. Don't stretch your budget to the absolute limit for a house. Don't assume your job is 100% secure. Action step? Build a room for error into everything. Save more than you think you need. Invest less aggressively than you technically could. It might feel inefficient, but when life punches you in the face, and it will, you'll survive. And survival is how you win the long game.
Big idea number 8. You'll change, and that's okay. Final big idea, your goals will change, and that's completely normal. Housel talks about how we underestimate how much will change in the future. At 25, you might want to retire at 40 and travel the world. At 40, you might realize you love working and want to build a legacy. The mistake is locking yourself into irreversible decisions based on who you are today. Don't take on a massive mortgage assuming you'll always want that lifestyle. Don't choose a career path with no exit ramps. Keep your options open. Stay flexible. Build wealth that gives you choices, not wealth that traps you. The practical takeaway? Make decisions that are easy to reverse. Keep learning new skills. Save money that isn't earmarked for one specific dream, because your dreams will evolve, and your finances should be able to evolve with them. All right, let's wrap this up with the key lessons from the psychology of money. Your personal history shapes your money beliefs, but it doesn't have to control them. Luck and risk are everywhere. Stay humble and focus on sustainable decisions. Define enough for yourself, or you'll chase someone else's goals forever. Compounding is magic, but only if you're patient and don't interrupt it. Save money without a reason. Flexibility is one of the best returns you can get. Wealth is what you don't see. Stop trying to look rich and start building real wealth. Always leave room for error. Plans that only work perfectly will fail. You'll change over time. Build a financial life that can change with you. The bottom line is, money isn't about math. It's about behavior, patience, and knowing yourself. If this video gave you a new way to think about money, hit that like button and subscribe for more book breakdowns like this. Drop a comment and let me know, what's one money habit you're going to change after watching this? And if you love this, check out Atomic Habits by James Clear next. It's all about building the tiny behaviors that lead to massive results. Could be perfect for leveling up your financial game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.